Now, this is the portion of the night where we honor two individuals in the community with an award that presents courage and possibilities. That is the theme of the night. And I am so excited for all of you to hear their story.
The Michael Brennan Courage Award was established in 2000 to honor the memory of BEF friend and colleague Michael Brennan. These recipients have overcome adversity, demonstrated courage, and have made exceptional differences in their respective communities. They are outstanding individuals with cystic fibrosis who show us hope. Hope that one day all people living with CF can achieve the dreams they set for themselves while living long, full lives.
My name is Spencer Burton, and I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis when I was age 2.5.
My name is Evan Burton. I was diagnosed at birth with cystic fibrosis. I wasn't proud to tell people about it. I kind of hid it from my friends. I didn't want anyone to see me take my medication. It affected me growing up in the way that I was smaller than everybody else.
When I was a younger person, the doctors were telling my parents that I was going to die when I was 16. I had to come to terms with what that was for me in my life and what my life truly was and what CF had the potential to teach me about me and my life and how to live a good life and help other people.
Me and my brother are very bonded through our shared disease, and we're also very bonded by our love of music. And so naturally we started a band together, and this has kind of guided our life path of bringing this music to people and letting what is in our soul out to the world, just letting our voice be heard of our perspective on life. Cystic fibrosis has affected me specifically in the way of my lungs. Lots of chronic lung infections, many visits to the hospitals.
At the start of this year, in 2024, Evan ended up catching influenza A. We were about 2 months in when we started to realize that this possibly could be rejection, and at that point Evan was already on oxygen 24/7. His lung capacity decreased significantly from where he was, and he barely could walk up the stairs at our house. We ended up going down to UCSF to be evaluated by the doctors down there, and at that time they told us that his rejection had progressed so quickly that he would need a second lung transplant. So we were faced with the reality that he could die before he was transplanted again.
Life is made out of challenges. Some of us have really big ones, and some have challenges that seem smaller, but to them they're big too. And these are all just gifts. Gifts in different shapes and sizes.
We live in Bend, Oregon, and so we had to figure out how to move our entire household down to San Francisco to be closer to the doctors down there, and we had to maintain our current household. So as you can imagine, that comes with a lot of financial challenges, and so we applied for the transplant grant through the Boomer Esiason Foundation, and they were able to assist us with some rental assistance in San Francisco. Having just any kind of financial assistance was really relieving, to be able to kind of focus on family more than trying to figure out like how to continue working.
I've been living here at the hospital for over a month, and my lungs are here. I'm going into surgery today at noon, and I'm very, very excited, grateful. And these are holes, and then this is a cut.
Ginormous cuts.
The second after I got my lungs and I woke up, I felt better. I felt like I had hope.
To anybody that's going through challenges in their lives, I would say that those are your greatest teachers. Your role is not to make bad things go away within yourself. It's to look at the things you consider bad and use them as your greatest gift.
Yeah, it's interesting having a brother with the same thing, you know? It's a blessing in a way, for sure. It's kind of like sharing the burden.
When I first met Spencer and learned about CF, I really didn't know what it was. And so the first thing I did was go home and Google it. And you know, there's nothing like numbers and statistics to terrify you. So very early on in our relationship, you know, I had to make a decision about, am I okay being with someone that has a chronic illness? Very clearly, we were laying in bed snuggling, and it came up, and you know, he let me know, like, we can't conceive naturally because I have CF. At that point in my life, just before I met Spencer, I had fully accepted the fact that I did want kids, and I very much wanted them, and it was kind of a deal breaker.
You know, I didn't ever think I would become a father. You get very comfortable with the ideas that are told to you from doctors, from media, about what you have and how that's going to affect your life. I found out about the IVF grant after my wife and I looked at each other and we decided we want to go for this.
So we set up this Zoom call to ask you guys a few more questions about your application, but the truth is we wanted to call you to tell you guys that you are the winners of the BEF IVF grant.
Absolutely just in shock, and I just started crying immediately. I think he did too.
What a gift to be able to find the BEF Foundation and have them help us with the grant to be able to have our little guy here today.
We hugged each other and we cried in shock and said thank you.
I knew we were going to get it. I just knew somewhere deep down we were going to get it. We were going to receive this grant, because I don't know what your beliefs are on any of these things out there, but you know, when you know, you know.
You know, every morning we wake up and we're still like, what? We have a kid. We're parents now, you know? We did it.
I don't know of a better way to tell your son that you love him by saying, hey, look, we deliberately chose very, very intently and did anything that we could to get you here.
Modern medicine really is a miracle, and without it, he wouldn't be here. And so we are absolutely going to tell him about it and tell him about the foundation and how they so drastically changed our lives and his life.
Watching my brother go through what he's gone through with his CF journey has changed me as a human being.
I would describe Evan as being very energetic, charismatic, full of life, energy, very extroverted, loving, caring, really outgoing. Evan, as a father, he is very patient and kind. He's a really amazing father. His whole life he's dealt with having cystic fibrosis and having this deadly disease that, you know, not only did he receive one double lung transplant, he's received two. And to me, that's one of the most courageous things that somebody could go through. And being able to keep your faith during that is extremely impressive.
I would perceive us to be better off from our hardships based on the lessons we've learned from them.
And I was going to be so upset if he didn't get to meet his nephew, you know, so.
My brother's a pillar of strength in my life. I'm so deeply grateful to have the connection with him that I have. Not just what we've been dealt genetically, but the same inclinations and shared outlook and life path.
Both of them are probably two of the bravest people I've ever met to say yes to it all. And they're so positive about it, always.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our 2025 Michael Brennan Courage Award winners, Spencer and Evan Burton.
Thank you so much for the incredible honor of receiving these awards. As humbled and grateful as I am to receive this, I still can't help but feel like I'm not the one who truly deserves it. That's why I want to dedicate it to my wife and my kids and my family. Because they're the ones who've had the harder challenge. Think about it. If someone came to you and said you have to pick between you or your child to have a disease, who you're going to pick? You're going to pick yourself. Because it's literally the path with the least amount of pain. To be in the position of watching your loved one go through that and being helpless, I can't even imagine what that's like. Amber, I love you. Thank you for doing everything you've done for me and going through what you've gone through. Ever since I was a tiny kid, I've been the one in the hot seat. It's a different position to be in. And I've had this kind of relentless, innate positivity to me since I was really, really small, you know? It's the feeling that things aren't happening to me, but they're happening for me. And today, you know, people come to me and they say, "You're so strong, man. How do you do it? You're so strong." And my answer is always the same. I think we're all strong. It's just that I've been given the opportunity to know how strong I am. It's a blessing. It's my greatest weakness has literally become my superpower, and I get to walk around and carry that with me on the earth. It's an unbelievable gift. If somebody offered to you all of the money in the world for your life, would you take it? No, of course not. It's not even close. What does that tell you? Life is the most valuable gift you will ever be given, the only real, true gift that exists. Right here, right now, this moment, this is life. And this is not just an idea or poetry. This is the truth. This is science. And this is my calling, to share my story with the world, to even the burden of suffering on the planet through what I've been through, and to let you all know with confidence that one day you will look back at all of your life, all of your struggles, all the hard stuff with clarity and see it as the puzzle pieces of your destiny unfolding. I want to thank the Boomer Esiason Foundation for the incredible work they're doing in the cystic fibrosis community. I want to thank my donors families for giving me the gift of life. If you are not already signed up to be a donor, you can do so right now. There's a card on your table. And lastly, I want to thank my brother for being here with me on this walk. I love you, brother.
Yeah, I really don't know how to follow something like that. I love you, man. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you.
You know, I apologize, I'm a little choked up. You know, I didn't expect to be so emotional. I mean, it's quite a moment. I just want to share with everybody, you know, through my years here on Earth, I've realized that everything that we are all truly seeking as human beings beneath the surface level achievements, validations, belongings,
is really the courage to be who we really are, our authentic selves. And part of what makes that so difficult for so many of us is the belief that we're not yet who we wish we were. That we're too flawed, too broken, too different to be worthy of our own full acceptance. And for me, one of the most powerful turning points in my life came when I stopped fighting those parts I thought I needed fixing, and instead chose to love them. When I started to see the so-called curses of my life as blessings is when it really changed for me. The very things I once wished I could change so desperately were actually leading me home to the man that I am today. My brother and I were both born with cystic fibrosis. That's true. And while that came with a bunch of struggles in my life, it also shaped a deep sense of purpose and gratitude that fuels everything that we do. It gave us a lens to see our life clearly as precious, temporary, and full of beauty, even in the most unlikely places. With our band Indubious, we've made it our mission to share this message of living without excessive fear or doubt. Not just through words, but through music that lifts people and reminds them of who they really are. So receiving the Michael Brennan Courage Award is an incredible honor, not just because of what it represents, but because it reflects something we believe with all of our hearts, that courage isn't about being fearless. It's about being real and choosing to love yourself exactly as you are right now. In every seat that you're sitting in right now, you're worthy of it. Thank you to the BEF Foundation. I want to thank Trikafta, Reshma, the team that I met today. You have changed my life in ways I cannot use words to describe. I have my son here because of the BEF Foundation, and I am a living human being here because of Trikafta, and I want to thank everybody that was involved in all of this. This isn't just our award. It belongs to every person who has ever struggled to feel worthy and chose to show up anyway. So as you saw in the video, the BEF IVF grant completely changed my family's life for the better. And you all have the opportunity to help change the lives of others in the CF community. But first, let's take a look at this clip from the E60 special that shows you a little bit more about Gunnar and Darcy's IVF journey. Thank you so much.